Bushland Coffee Company was founded so the community would have a convenient location to connect with others while enjoying healthy drinks and nutritious snacks. Our mission is to nourish our customers and our community with our culture and our coffee. Our values include joyful service, healthy nutrition, and community fellowship. Come by and get a drink and a snack Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 7 to 6 p.m. Go Falcons!
Well, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are excited for today. I'm already laughing, just having some fun here with Coach Reynolds. It is the playoffs, the first week of playoffs this week. As our coaches show our by-district playoff round. And we are, it's a fun time to be a Falcon right now.
It is.
As always, this time of season, it's always fun. We're going and going and going, you know.
Yeah,
so.
there's a lot going on. A lot of things for all the fans to go support. So we have to travel a little bit, but that's the fun of it sometimes.
Yeah, you're definitely road warriors during this time of the season, you know. But of course, we start off Monday night having a basketball game. Girls basketball start. They're off to a 2-0 start, and then Tuesday night, the Lady Falcons punched their ticket to the state semifinal, which they'll play on Saturday in Wichita Falls. And then, of course, we knew last week we were between if we won, we're going to get the 3 seed. We just didn't know who the opponent was going to be until it got determined that night. And then I guess Denver City beat Lamesa, so we get Lamesa. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, they won late. We were kind of keeping up with that game after ours, looking at score, and I think it was 16-15 Lamesa for the longest time, and there was like a minute 40 left, and it was stuck there. We didn't hear anything. Finally, we got word that I think Denver City scored late, less than a minute left to kind of win that game. So
yeah. Well, we'll talk that. We'll break that down here in just a few minutes. But I do want to go back to last week's game, talk about the River Road game. I mean, it was a great performance by the Bushland Falcons. They came out. I think that's one of those performances that you have to have going into playoffs, right? Like it's nice to have that because now, as we've talked about all season, what you've seen on the practice field seemed like that transferred over to the playing field on Friday night, and all those things clicking, and we had a great win last Friday night.
Yeah, we felt like we went out and did what we needed to do.
Yeah,
and especially coming off a game like the week before against Dalhart, where we didn't think we put our best team out there. And again, Dalhart, we talked about that. Dalhart has a really good team, and their record indicates that, and. We didn't feel like we played our best, coached our best, anything like that. So you always want to come back the next week, and that's kind of the tough thing about football is you have to wait a full week before you get out there again. And we kind of had a bad taste in our mouth, from that performance. So we went out and did the things we needed to do. I thought we played offensively. I thought we played with our best tempo of the year last week against River Road. That was probably the fastest we've played with our tempo. Maybe all year. And, we feel like we can do that. We can get that tempo going whenever we're getting positive yards. Whenever you're getting runs of even 3, 4, 5 yards, we can get up to the line, run the next play, get it in. We're executing our screen game, our quick game. We were able to, get our tempo going. We went back to kind of look at, from the time one play was finished to the time we snapped the next one, sometimes it was, 9-10 seconds. That's pretty quick. That's a credit to our kids of executing, getting the ball back to the umpire so they can get it set fast, get it lined up, getting the play in, snapping the ball, and eventually just kind of wearing down the defense a little bit. And then defensively, I thought we played, in a kind of more of an attack mode, not on our heels a little bit. We played more of an attack mode. So overall, that's how we want to play. That's what we feel like our program is about, is attacking on offense, attacking on defense, being aggressive in special teams. And we were able to do that all last week.
Yeah, it was a great performance by the Falcons against River Road. And now, which sets up, again, now, here we are. We've talked about this all season long. There's 3 parts to the season. You have like your before district, play, then you have district play, and now you have playoffs. And again, everybody's record in playoffs is 0-0.
Right.
And so now you just need to get on a 6-game win streak.
That's it.
I mean, that's all. I mean, it
sounds simple, right?
It sounds simple, but in the game of football, we know. I mean, it's like course, you hear the terminology any given Sunday, right? Or
Right.
of course, I think that goes to any given Friday. As for tonight, we have a game tonight in Lubbock. So I mean, you start seeing some of this where hopefully if you can catch momentum at the right time, man, that who knows what could happen going forward. And so talk about that for just like your mindset now. As you're coaching, you're talking to the students, talking to the athletes, and like, what is your approach to them? What is your just kind of that statement that you're making to them at this point, getting them ready for this part of the season?
We control everything.
Yeah.
We're not asking. You don't have to ask anybody to do this for you. We don't have to win, and somebody else has to win or lose. What we control our own destiny. And. We just got to play our game for 48 minutes, and that's really all you can do. You be willing to get in the fight for 48 minutes and find a way. They don't, when you look back at scores, they didn't say pretty win, ugly win, pretty win or loss, whatever. You find a way to win, and will yourself to a win. And just, next week doesn't matter. All that matters is tonight.
Because there is no next week if you don't execute tonight.
And it doesn't, you always want to get in there and win easy if you can, but playoffs, it doesn't matter. I mean, you just find a way to win and advance to the next round. The whole kind of like to talk about in the NCAA basketball, survive and advance.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do it pretty if you can, but it doesn't matter. You just find a way to advance to the next round, and that's all that matters. And so, we want to get in there tonight against the quality team in Lamesa. They especially offensively, they scored a lot of points this year, and they're a team that's dangerous because they have a good quarterback, good running back, good receivers, and they can put points on the board in a hurry. If you go back and look at their games, I mean, they can score some points. So we're going to have to play well, and all we care about is finding a way to advance to the next round.
Yeah. So when you've seen them on film, you've already mentioned quarterback, running back, wide receivers. What is the overall game plan for when you're talking to the defense? All right, guys, it's going back to that discipline, right? I mean, it's stay in your lanes. Let's control this guy. I mean, what is your message to that defense tonight? Getting ready. What do you want to see from our defense? On that.
And they're big up front. Their offensive, defensive lines. They're big bodies up front. Physical. So we got to make sure that we tackle well. They're going to complete some passes. They're too good at throwing and catching to keep them from, making some plays. They're going to do some things. They're going to complete some passes. We got to tackle well. Yeah. They throw a 5-yard hitch. We got to tackle them for 5. We can't let a 5-yard hitch or an out route turn into 20, 30, 40, 50. We got to make them drive the football down the field and execute. And, and limit those big plays, because ultimately that's what, and I think we've been pretty good at that, at times this year, kind of a bend but don't break type deal where we may give up some yards, but then we keep them out of the end zone. So we've got to be good at that defensively. It's just being able to take away what they do best. And when they do execute it, we've got to tackle well, make them huddle up, snap it again.
Yeah. Yeah. And then of course, offensively looking at, just again, I would assume, and so you just correct me if I'm wrong on this. All right, because but kind of what you saw last week from the offense, the up tempo.
Yeah.
I mean, execute, right? I mean, because there's not a lot of teams that can stay with the pace of play that when we're executing like that.
Right.
We do wear the defense out, and a lot of teams aren't used to playing that style of offense.
Right.
So is that kind of the same message at your point? You're telling the team this week on the offense?
Absolutely. I think we were pretty simple offensively last week, and just like you said, our tempo. That's something we want to make sure we establish, and we were able to establish that tempo with positive gains. It's when you go and first down, if you get -2 or 3, that starts changing things. Then it kind of changes your game plan. Well, not game plan, but the plan for that possession.
Sure.
So being able to, whether we run it, throw it, whatever, being able to get 4 or 5 yards on first down, that allows us to establish that tempo. And I think what you start seeing, like last week, we established our tempo, and some of our runs in the first quarter, first half that were maybe 4 and 5 yards in the second half, those runs, because you start wearing the defense down. Some of those runs start turning into 10, 12, 15-yard carries. And, that's what we're looking for when we talk about our tempo.
Well, last week I noticed that we had you pulled up several players and they got a lot of playing time. It looked like. What was your impression on just watching them, how they performed in last week's game?
Yeah,
they're seeing their first varsity action, basically. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, we had a lot of guys contribute last week, and that's in a perfect world. That's what you want. Everybody goes home happy. Everybody got to play. We had. The crazy thing is, going through back and doing our stats, I think we had 17 or 18 different kids touch the ball.
Yeah.
Well,
we were calling names. In fact, I was having to go next door. I don't have this guy on the roster. That's. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're calling names that we haven't really called all season. You know what I mean? And so it was a lot of fun to get to see that happen for us. You know what I mean?
Well, so we didn't have a freshman game where we did. We didn't originally. That we got picked up Wellington. Really from top to bottom, it was a good week because we picked up Wellington and we played with some of our freshman kids that maybe haven't played as much this year.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those guys got more snaps last Thursday in that game against Wellington's JV than they've gotten all year. So that was a great night for those kids to be able to go make some plays. And just seeing the opportunity for some of those freshman kids. To go catch a touchdown, to throw a touchdown, to get an interception, to get a sack, that meant a lot to us as a program to get those guys some playing time that they hadn't gotten all year.
Yeah.
So then we moved some guys up to JV to play River Rose JV. Then we moved some other kids up to, give us some depth on the varsity, and knowing that they might have the opportunity to play. So that was great to see not only those kids that we moved up, but even some of our kids that are on the varsity all year that maybe haven't got that time as well. And to see them get more time than they normally get and to be able to go in there and execute and block people and catch a pass or run the football, that was awesome to see. Like I said, I think we statted 17 different kids touch the ball, whether it be through a rush, a reception, whatever it was, that's, I don't know that we've had that many touch the ball in a game maybe forever, but if not a long time for sure. So, and we want them to go in and execute.
Yeah.
We want them to go in and execute. They practice too. So our expectation is you go in and you execute, whether it's blocking, catching, throwing, running, whatever it is. We want them to go execute. They did a good job.
Yeah. Even on defense, when you brought in, second string or, giving your guys some rest, which I thought was huge last week.
Right.
Because these guys have been playing nonstop all year long, both sides of the football, right?
Yeah.
And they were able to get a breather this past week, and even watching them perform on defense, I felt like that had to have been a win for you and the coaching staff, watching them, again, perform and really, I thought they played very well,
Yeah, they did.
I thought so. All right, so tonight's game, again, it is Thursday night game for everybody that's been asking me all week long. Were we playing Friday? We're not. We're playing Thursday, and we're at Lubbock Cooper.
Cooper.
7 p.m. kickoff?
7 p.m.
All right, and our matchup is against Lamesa Tornadoes.
Yes.
The Tornadoes are coming to town, or coming to Lubbock. We're all going to Lubbock, all right? So we're going to have some fun there. But I want to ask you another question just completely off this. But so you had a crazy situation unfold last week between Emerald High with all the coin flip and all that stuff. Have you ever been in a situation like that where you had to do like a 3-way coin flip?
I have in baseball before.
Okay.
That's what I was telling the kids about. Actually, on the bus, they were talking about it because, I don't know exactly what all happened. That's really not my business.
Right.
What I do know on that is I know some of those coaches over there. It's just, the whole thing's unfortunate for all of them, for the kids.
Yeah.
Emerald High, that at that time you didn't know, all right, maybe done tonight all of a sudden, so unfortunate for the coaches, because I know some of those guys and they're great guys. I know, it's unfortunate that just a mistake in paperwork or a communication on something can happen like that and affect everyone. But I also know some of those guys and coaches over there know that, nothing's done on purpose and really felt bad for those coaches and those kids over there. But to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I think I know for sure I've been involved in years ago, and it wasn't even here. When I was coaching baseball, we ended up in I think a 3-way tie after the last district game on a Friday night. And we met at Chili's in Amarillo on I-40. And we met there and flipped a coin to see, all right, so what we ended up doing is flipping odd man got to bye.
Okay.
So we were all playing for the last spots. But instead of just flipping it and whoever odd man won was in, we were going to play it out the next day. So we flipped. We were the odd man, so we actually got to bye. The other two teams turned around and played right before us the next day at Tascosa, and then we played the winner, and we actually won and got in. But it was a crazy deal, and I just remember, I stayed on the bus with the kids, and then our head baseball coach at the time, he was out there, and of course everybody's looking out the windows waiting to see what happened, and coin flip. So yeah, it's kind of crazy how you can get into those situations like that. And
that had to have been the most watched YouTube video or Facebook video last week. I mean, everybody's eyes were glued on it. I mean, my phone, everybody's sending it to me as soon as it happened and stuff. I was like, man, that was, I just was wondering because I was like, and then like you said, your heart goes out to those other guys. Like, man, you lost it on a coin flip.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. You know what I mean?
It is.
But well, I just wondered if you'd ever been part of that, because when I was watching, I thought, can you imagine that? Now, when I look at it this way now with Emerald High, because they were having a pretty good season. Yeah, they've had a really good season. And now they're coming in a very low seed, right? They're going, I mean,
how'd you like to be the one seed?
Would you like to be the one seed? Have to play Emerald High?
Yeah,
that's unfair.
It kind of is. Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, those are just the thoughts that I was having last week.
Then you think, you feel for those other kids on those other teams, Caprock, High, that were involved with that too, because you get your hopes up. And it all comes down to how a coin lands.
That's right.
And that's part of it. And you tell yourself not to get in those situations, but that's part of it. That's part of sports. That's part of the highs and lows of coaching, the highs and lows of playing and being involved, and honestly, just feeds into the life lessons that you talk about.
That's right.
With that, and you try to use that as a platform for. I'm sure Emerald High use that as a platform for their kids to talk about what you learned from it. Then the Caprock coaches, the Lubbock High coaches have to turn around and go address their kids, and then see the disappointment on their faces. And again, I think you just try to use those situations as life lessons for your kids. And hey, I understand there's this disappointing time, but the sun's gonna come up tomorrow. Yeah. It's at the end of the day, it's a game, and you're going to move on to different things, and that's okay to feel disappointed, but at the same time, like I said, you just try to use those moments, those teachable moments to those kids that, there's going to be times like this in life. You just got to learn from it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer that we can learn more through adversity.
Oh, absolutely.
Than even through our wins and through our victories, and that's something that, I try to talk to my kids about all the time, talk to our students about all the time. Guys, I mean, when things don't go exactly how you want it to go, what can we learn from it? What I mean? And you can come out being a better person on top of that, So, well, I thanks for talking about that. I kind of threw that on you last minute, but it was just, it hit my mind. I was like, man, I wonder what his thoughts were about it. I wonder if you've ever been part of it, because that was the great, and like I said, you get excited for one group of kids, one group of coaches, and then like I said, you're heartbroken, like, oh, now what do you say to those kids? You know what I mean? Oh man, that's terrible. So, all right, well guys, we do have a by-district matchup tonight in Lubbock, playing at Lubbock Cooper, 7:00 kickoff against Lamesa, and the Bushland Falcons looking right now. Hey, you win, and you go to next week, right? And so that's what you're looking at right now. You got to string 6 wins together, and then we'll host a trophy at the end of the season. That'd be great. So
we want to go host one up tonight. Those guys deserve it.
That's right. We need a gold ball tonight.
We want a lot of gold balls, but it starts with one tonight.
Yeah. You can't get multiple until you start with that first one, right? And so we'll do that. But come on out if you can't make the trip to Lubbock tonight. Make sure you tune in to the NFHS network. That's where our broadcast will be Again, when we go into playoff mode, that is the that's the agreement that's been made with UIL and NFHS. They have the rights to broadcast. They have given Chris and I the approval to broadcast the game tonight, and so we will be there. We'll be live on NFHS. We'll go early with a 6:30 pregame. Now that'll probably be on YouTube. Actually, the pregame will be on YouTube, and then we'll switch from YouTube over to the NFHS network when we go to kickoff. So, but other than that, Coach, good luck tonight.
Appreciate
It's gonna
it.
be a lot of fun. Y'all have a great week. I just can't wait to see what happens. Tonight it's gonna be fun. This is that time of the season where, like I said, it's a lot of fun. And then, like I said, we come back out. We win tonight. We'll take a day off tomorrow, and then we're gonna go Saturday to Wichita Falls. Everybody meet in Wichita Falls. We're actually providing transportation to the school district which is awesome. I think that's pretty amazing that we're doing that.
I know I talked to Miss Culpepper yesterday, and we're providing a bus, for fans, students, parents, anybody who wants to get on the bus or buses if we had to, to load up and go down there if you don't feel like driving. I think she sent out, I can't remember the information at the top of my head, and I don't want to say the wrong times as far as when the bus would leave, the plans and stuff like that. But I'm sure if we get on the Facebook page, we have all that information out there. We'll try to get it out there, the next, 48 hours so people can plan however you want to go, support those girls. It's a big moment. This is the equivalent of being at the state tournament.
Yeah.
Normally, where you have the last two rounds, state semifinals.
I wish they'd bring that back.
Yeah, I do too. They may have discussions about it and bring that back, but for right now, that's what it is. And the kids, all of our kids, girls, they would appreciate that support Saturday. The boys would appreciate the support this Thursday, tonight as well. So
yeah,
it's a great time to be a Falcon.
It
a great
is.
time to be a supporter of our kids.
Come out and support our kids, guys. Let's support these young students, right? I mean, I look at it, man, and there's nothing more fun than to see the joy on their faces. It's so much fun just to be there, to high five them after that, to give them that hug, whatever it is, just to be there supporting them. In Bushland, I wanted to say this, you actually do a great job doing it, because every time we go somewhere, we have got fans in the stands, and y'all are going crazy. And so I just encourage you to come out tonight, 7 o'clock at Lubbock Cooper, and then again Saturday. Oh, by the way, there will be a send-off for the girls tomorrow at 12:45. So line Bushland Road. If you can be, if you're not working or if you got a chance, line Bushland Road, come out and cheer on the girls as we send them off at 12:45 tomorrow. So I just got that information this morning. So, but man, y'all do that. We look forward to cheering all the Falcons on tonight, again on Saturday. But come out, join us. If you can't make the trip, again, like I said, NFHS Network, we will be there. On Chris and I will be on the call tonight. I'll be on the call on Saturday. So just come on out, listen or tune into NFHS if you can't make it. But man, if you can, man, come on, let's go. Let's have some fun. So, all right, Coach, thanks again for
thank you.
Your time this week. And thank you guys for tuning in to Bushland Falcon Media. It's Bushland Falcon Media, where every game comes to life. We'll catch y'all later.
Bushland Coffee Company was founded so the community would have a convenient location to connect with others while enjoying healthy drinks and nutritious snacks. Our mission is to nourish our customers and our community with our culture and our coffee. Our values include joyful service, healthy nutrition, and community fellowship. Come by and get a drink and a snack Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 7 to 6 p.m. Go Falcons!